Hello, dear TET and DSC candidates. Welcome back to my Grammar for Success channel. I am Koresh Babu, a retired lecturer in English from Hyderabad. In today's video, I am going to teach you all about various kinds of clauses, and I am damn sure that one or two questions are guaranteed from this grammatical aspect. I therefore request all of you to watch this video till the end without skipping it in the middle, and I also request all of you to consider subscribing to this channel and also sharing this video with all your near and dear ones. Thank you so much, and now let's get into the video. What is a clause? First of all, let us try to understand what a clause is. Okay, what is a clause? A clause is a group of words. Okay, what is a clause? A clause is a group of words. And what kind of group of words means? That has both a subject and also a verb. One very important aspect of this clause is what? It forms a part of the compound and complex sentence. That means this clause becomes a part and parcel of a compound as well as a complex sentence. That means you can find the clauses only in the compound sentences and complex sentences. How? Let us see that here very clearly. It's just a simple thing to understand. Okay, there is nothing difficult about this clause. Okay, here I'll give you some examples to make you understand what a clause is. Mohan is rich. Okay, he is very unhappy. The Telugu meaning of these two simple sentences you know very well. I need not give you the meaning of these two simple sentences. So if you can observe these two sentences, they are not only simple sentences, but they are separate sentences. They are individual sentences, right? And now let us combine these two simple sentences and separate sentences into one single sentence. Let us do it. How? Let us do that here. Mohan is rich, yet he is very unhappy. So here we are able to combine these two simple sentences and separate sentences into one single sentence with the help of the word yet. Okay, Mohan is rich, yet Ainapatikini, he is very unhappy. So with this word yet, we have combined these two simple sentences. Now let us try to understand the things now in this sentence. So this word is called a coordinating conjunction, and therefore this sentence is now called a compound sentence. Okay, and next important point let us learn about this is Mohan is rich. Earlier, this was a separate sentence. This was an independent sentence. Similarly, this was also a separate sentence and a simple sentence. But now, when these two sentences are combined into compound sentence, what happened? Now this is called a clause. Mohan is rich is no longer called a separate sentence. No, it is no longer called an independent sentence. It is now called a clause. And he is very unhappy. This is now called a clause. So earlier this sentence was called an independent sentence, a separate sentence. But whenever these two sentences are brought into this compound sentence pattern, okay, now what happened? These sentences are called now clauses. Now in this, Mohan, subject is there, verb is there, subject is there, verb is there. So in a word, what all the in separate sentences, independent sentences once they were, now they are no longer separate sentences and independent sentences. Now they are called clauses. This is a clause, this is a clause. Okay, hope you have understood this one. Okay. Right. One more example I would like to give you to make you understand the concept of clause. I went there. You can understand this very well. The door was locked. You can also understand the meaning of this. I need not give you the Telugu meaning. And here, this is, I went there is a separate sentence and a simple sentence. The door was locked, a separate sentence and a simple sentence. Now, let us join these two separate sentences into one sentence. How? Let us do that here. When I went there, the door was locked. So here, we could join these two separate sentences with the help of this when. What is this when? When is what? A subordinating conjunction. It's a subordinating conjunction. Since these two separate sentences and simple sentences are joined into one single sentence with the help of this when, this is therefore called a complex sentence. know very well, the sentences joined by subordinating conjunctions are always called complex sentences. The sentences joined by coordinating conjunctions are called compound sentences. About this particular thing, simple, compound, complex sentences, I'm going to upload a video on forthcoming Sunday, so you can watch it and benefit from that. Okay, and here these are the two examples. From these two examples you can now understand what a clause is. Now here I went, there was a separate and a simple sentence earlier, but now it is not a separate and simple sentence, it is now a clause. And the door was locked was earlier a simple and a separate sentence, but it's no longer a separate and simple sentence, it's now clause. So what all the sentences that were earlier simple and separate are no longer simple and separate, but they are only clauses when those sentences are brought into the pattern of compound sentence and complex sentence patterns. So from this you understand that the sentences, when they are brought into the compound sentence pattern and the complex sentence pattern, then they are called clauses. So I hope you have understood what a clause is from this slide, and let's move on to learn other important things. What is a finite clause? Let us learn about this finite clause. A finite clause is a clause, okay? A finite clause is a clause, the verb of which shows the tense of the clause. That is very simple and very easy. So in every clause there is a verb of its own, you know that very well. And clauses can be found only in the compound sentences as well as in the complex sentences. That point also you know very well. So here, whenever the verb in that clause shows the tense, then that clause is called a finite clause. Okay, simple and easy, no confusion at all. So here you pay attention. Here, when I went there, the door was locked. So this is a complex sentence, okay, because in this sentence when is used, these two statements are combined by joined by this conjunction. When is a subordinating conjunction. All these things you know very well, because I have already told you, because the clauses can be found only in the complex and compound sentences. That's all. So it's a complex sentence, and in this one clause is there, okay, and another clause is there. So in these clauses, the verb is showing the tense. Here, in this clause the verb is showing the past tense. In this clause the verb is showing the past tense. So this verb is showing the past tense, this verb is showing the past tense, and here, since the verbs are showing the tenses, therefore these clauses are called finite clause. Finite clause. Okay, and here both the clauses are finite clauses. That's good. And some more examples I would like to give you. Though she worked hard, she failed the examination. So this is again a complex sentence. Okay, complex sentence. So this is a clause, okay, and this is also a clause. It's a complex sentence because the conjunction though is used. Though is a subordinating conjunction, so it's a complex sentence. So this is a clause, this is a clause, and in these two clauses the verb is showing the tense. Worked is showing the past tense, failed it is showing the past tense. Therefore this clause is a finite clause. This clause is a finite clause, right? When you go to the next one, unless you stop drinking you will die. So this is also a complex sentence, okay, complex sentence, okay, complex sentence, because these two statements are joined by the conjunction unless is a subordinating conjunction. Therefore this is a complex sentence. And in this, this is a clause. You stop drinking is a clause, you will die is also a clause. What kind of clause? Since the verb used in this is showing the tense, therefore it is a finite clause. It is showing the present tense and it is showing the future tense. So here it's a finite clause, it's a finite clause because the verbs are showing the tenses, right? And here next example, I shall buy that mobile because I like it. So here because is used, therefore it is a complex sentence. Okay, and here this is one clause, this is another clause. Okay, what kind of clause is this? It's a finite clause because the verb used in this clause is showing the tense. It is showing the future tense. In this, it is also a finite clause because the verb used in this is showing the present tense. Okay, and now these are all complex sentences. And the car capsized, yet no one was hurt. Yet is used in this, therefore it's a compound sentence. Okay. This is a coordinating conjunction, it's a compound sentence. So this is a clause, this is a clause. What kind of clause is this? Okay, clause. This is a finite clause because the verb is showing the tense. In this also, the verb is showing the tense. This is a finite clause. No one was hurt. The car capsized. Finite clause. No one was hurt. Finite clause. And one more example here I would like to give you. We respect him very much. He is a nobleman. We are joining these two statements with the help of this for, and therefore it's a compound sentence. This clause, this is a finite clause. It's showing the present tense. It's also showing the present tense. It's a finite clause. And last example here I would like to give you is he ran very fast, but he could not get into the bus. So here it is also a compound sentence because the conjunction but is used in this sentence. Okay, and what kind of clause is this? He ran very fast. It's a finite clause because ran very fast. This verb is showing the tense of this clause, right? And in this also the verb is showing the tense of this clause. Therefore, here it is a finite clause. So in this way, in all these examples, the verbs used in these clauses are showing the tenses, and therefore though all those clauses are called finite clauses, right? And now let's move on to learn the next clause. What is a non-finite clause? Non-finite clause means very simple. A non-finite clause is a clause the verb of which it doesn't show the tense of the clause. If the verb of any clause doesn't show the tense of that particular clause, then that clause is called a non-finite clause. Very simple, very easy. Okay, let us take some examples to understand that. Not having a car, it is becoming very difficult for me to go to the office. So here, this is a clause, not having a car. It is becoming very difficult. It's a sentence, right? And what kind of clause is this? Means the verb is not showing the tense of this clause. The verb is not showing the tense of this clause. But having means what? Is it present tense, past tense, future tense? No. That's why this clause is called a non-finite clause. NFC, non-finite clause. So similarly, I'll give you the weather being fine, we resume to play cricket. So this is the sentence and this is a clause. What kind of clause is this? Here it is not showing the tense of this clause. And therefore, it is a non-finite clause. Being means what? Is it present tense or past tense or future tense? No, it's not showing any tense. That's why this clause is called a non-finite clause. Similarly, despite running fast, she could not catch the train. Of course, that sentence is there. It is in the past tense. Okay, present continuous. The sentence is okay. We are not talking about the sentence. We are talking only about the clauses. So this is the clause. Despite running fast is a clause. What kind of clause is this? It's a non-finite clause because the verb used in this running is not showing the tense of this clause. Is it showing the present tense? Is it showing the past tense or future tense? What tense is it showing? It's not showing any tense, and that's why this is therefore called a non-finite clause, right? And one more example: the sun having risen, the fog dispersed. So here this is a clause. What kind of clause? Non-finite clause, because having risen is not showing the tense of that clause. Okay, right? That's why it's a non-finite clause. And let's go to the last example. Besides being a poet, he was a great scholar. So besides being a poet, so this is a clause, but what kind of clause is this? Non-finite clause, because the verb used in this is being, and it is not showing any tense. So that's why in all these clauses, the verb used in that clause is not showing the tense of that clause, and therefore such clauses are called non-finite clauses. Are you following me? Right. Now let's move on to learn other clauses. What is a defining clause? Okay, it's a very important grammatical aspect from your TET or DSC examination point of view. Please pay a very good attention to this. And defining relative clauses. Defining clause means describing clause. Okay, defining is nothing but describing. Defining is a grammatical term. Okay, but describing is a general English term. That's only the difference. So defining means describing. So that's why defining relative clauses or adjective clauses. The other name for defining relative clauses is adjective clauses, right? And what is the meaning of defining clauses? Means they are nothing but adjective clauses. You know very well, these defining clauses are nothing but adjective clauses which define or describe. Define means describe what? Their antecedents. Antecedents means the noun or pronoun preceding the adjective clause is called the antecedent of this noun defining clause or adjective clause. So here, this point you have understood. Another point I would like to give you here, they are formed with relative pronouns. See, defining clauses or adjective clauses are always formed with relative pronouns. What are those relative pronouns? Who, whom, whose, what, which, that. Please keep these relative pronouns in your mind, because on this particular aspect also the examiner is posing some questions in the examination. So who, whom, whose, what, which, that, these are all relative pronouns, and they, what do? They frame or they form adjective clauses. And one point, and also certain relative adverbs are also there. So what are they? When, where, why. Please keep these three things in your mind. That means defining clauses or adjective clauses are formed or framed only with the relative pronouns who, whom, whose, what, which, then the relative adverbs when, where, why, and why. So these are the three adverbs. Okay, and now let us look at the examples. Very easy. Ravi, who broke the chair. This is the defining, what is that? Clause or adjective clause. What is this doing? This is this whole who broke the chair. What is it doing? It is defining this Ravi. It is describing this Ravi. Who broke the chair? Evaraithe chairunu viragottaru, a Ravi was punished. It's right. So what is this doing? It is describing this Ravi. What kind of Ravi? Who broke the chair? If I don't say this, you can't understand anything. Ravi was punished. Suppose this is not there. What do you understand from this? Ravi was punished. Do you understand anything from that? Ravi was punished means what special thing am I telling you in that sentence? No, you can't understand. Ravi was punished. It's meaningless. If I say Ravi, who broke the chair? Evaraithe chairunu viragottaru, a Ravi shikshinchabaddadu. See how nice the sentence is. So here, this entire part is called a defining clause, an adjective clause, and it is what is that? Describing this Ravi, and this Ravi is therefore called an antecedent. Antecedent is Ravi. Let's go to learn the next sentence. Okay, what is the next example? Mangoes which are overripe should be thrown away. So here this part is there. What is this doing? So which is that? It's a relative pronoun. All the defining clauses begin either with relative pronouns or with relative adverbs. That's all. So which are overripe means it's a relative pronoun, so it's an adjective clause. What is this part doing? What is this clause doing? It is describing these mangoes. Mangoes which are overripe. Evaithe atiga pandinavo, a mangoes should be thrown away. So this part is describing these mangoes. These mangoes, this is called an antecedent of this clause. E clause ku idi antecedent. E clause ki idi antecedent. Antecedent means mundu undi varninchabadutunna mata, that is called antecedent. Mangoes which are overripe should be thrown away. So this is the adjective clause or defining clause, right? And this is the place where John Milton was buried. So here, this clause is called an adjective clause or a defining clause. What is this part doing? It is describing this place. Place is the antecedent of this clause. Where John Milton was buried. Ekkadaithe John Milton paati pettabaddado, aa pradeshame idi. Ala cheppa. So easy, so interesting. And I have an Alsatian whose name is Ryder. So here, this is the defining clause. What is this adjective clause doing? It is describing or defining this Alsatian. I have an Alsatian. The name of this dog is Alsatian. This is a variety of dogs. Variety of this one variety of dogs. You know that very well. I have an Alsatian, right? And this clause is describing this Alsatian. This Alsatian is an antecedent. And what is it doing? Whose name is Ryder? Deni peraithe Rydero ade. Alsatian na daggara undi. అంటే రైడర్ అనే పేరు కలిగిన ఆల్సిషన్ నా దగ్గర ఉంది. దట్ ద తెలుగు మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ దట్ యు నో వెరీ వెల్. అండ్ యూ గో టు ద నెక్స్ట్ వన్. దిస్ ఈస్ ద బాయ్ దట్ వన్ ద ఫస్ట్ ప్రైజ్. సో what is this? This is the boy, that one. That is also a relative pronoun, and with that a defining clause is formed. So that won the first prize. This is an adjective clause. What is it doing? It is describing this boy. This boy is an antecedent. Antecedent means varninchabadutunna mata. Now hope you understand this in Telugu really. This is the boy that won the first prize. Modati prize gelichinatvanti atade ee abbayi, something like that. So here, in all these examples, these adjective clauses are called defining clauses. You know, this is all about the defining clauses. And what are the non-defining clauses? Let us also pay attention to those things and let us learn those non-defining clauses, right? What is a non-defining relative clause? These non-defining relative clauses are also called non-restrictive clauses. And let us learn a few things about these non-defining relative clauses. They are also nothing but adjective clauses. Okay, they are also adjective clauses, no doubt about that, but they do not define or describe their antecedents. Defining relative clauses describe or define their antecedents. Non-defining relative clauses do not describe or define their antecedents. That point you have to understand. So they don't describe their antecedents. Please, important. And next point is they merely give us additional information about the antecedent. What do these non-defining relative clauses do? Means they merely give us additional information about the antecedent, about that particular antecedent. They give only additional information. Okay, right. And they are separated by commas from the rest of the sentence. Very, very important. These 3 points are very important. Keep all of them, because you know I have given them on this slide, you know, in writing, because if I teach all these things, you know, you might forget it, and that's why I have given everything in writing on the slide. That's why please you watch this again and again, so that all these points are recorded in your mind, right? They are separated by commas from the rest of the sentence. Very, very important. And fourth important point is they are formed with relative pronouns. Okay, what are those relative pronouns? Who, whose, and which. Remember, only with these 3 relative pronouns only they are formed. Okay, not with all other who, whom, whose, what, which, that. Not there are so many relative pronouns, but not with all of them. Only with who, whose, and which. Please remember. And also with the relative adverb where. Only this is used to form a non-defining relative clause. Okay, right. Please, these 4 points you have to keep in your mind. Right, now let's take up some examples. Mohan, who I have known for many years. So you are giving additional information. Even if this is not there, this sentence can stand on its own feet. How? Mohan is one of my closest friends. It is giving full meaning. Mohan is one of my closest friends. It is giving full meaning, and it doesn't need any additions and deletions and all these things. Okay, here, but you are Mohan, you are giving some additional information about this antecedent. You are giving some information about this antecedent and saying, what are you saying? Who I have known for many years. ఎవరైతే నాకు చాలా సంవత్సరాలుగా తెలిసి ఉన్నాడు. You are giving some additional information. That's why this is called a non-defining adjective clause. Okay, non-defining adjective clause. Okay, non-defining relative clause or adjective clause, whatever you can say. And here we have separated this part by commas. Okay, commas are. And similarly, I'll give you some examples you can understand. Elephants, which are the largest land mammals. Okay, we have separated this part. Whenever an adjective clause is separated by commas, means you must think it is a non-defining relative clause. And non-defining relative clauses are always separated by commas. Okay, right. You can directly, even without this, the sentence can stand on its own. Elephants live in herds of 10 or more adults. This sentence is okay, but what are you doing? You have inserted this additional information. into the sentence, and you are saying elephants, which are the largest and land mammals, live in herds of 10 or more adults. Okay, and so some more examples I think I have given you so that you can understand these non-defining relative clauses thoroughly well. The man over there, whose name I do not know, is a singer. See here, the man over there, this is what you are giving some additional information separated by commas. This is a non-defining relative clause, non-defining relative clause. Okay, whose name I do not know. Why? You are just inserting this information into the sentence. Otherwise also the sentence can stand on its own. How? The man over there is a singer. You can say the man over there is a singer. You can say that, but you are giving additional information. Whose name I do not know. Who wants that information? But you have sometimes you happen to say that. That is the point. And here, my mother, who is 86, lives in Paris. You can also directly say, my mother lives in Paris. But you are giving additional information about this mother, antecedent of this clause. But this clause is separated by commas. So it's a non-defining relative clause. Non-defining relative clause, right? Okay, right. And then the manager sent for the clerk who came at once. So the manager sent for the clerk. That's enough. Who came at once. Whether you say it or not, that doesn't make any big difference here. Who came at once? Why? So this is what a non-defining relative clause, right? Next weekend, I am going to Mumbai, where my sister lives. So this is again a non-defining relative clause, because even if this is not there, this sentence can stand on its own. Next weekend, I am going to Mumbai. That's enough. But you are giving some additional, where my sister lives. Who has asked you to give that information? Because you are eager to give that information. And that's why you are saying, where my sister lives. ఎక్కడైతే మా సిస్టర్ ఉంటుందో ఆ బొంబాయికి వెళ్తున్నట్టు అయిపోతుంది, కానీ మా సిస్టర్ ఉన్నటువంటి. So you are giving some additional information. Sometimes you happen to give such information, extra information, additional information, right? And now let's go to the next example. Mohan, who is my next door neighbor, is a bank manager. Mohan is a bank manager. ఆడికి అయిపోతుంది. That's enough. కానీ you are giving what? Additional information. Mohan, who is my next door neighbor? మా ఇంటి పక్క ఉండే ఆ మోహన్ బ్యాంక్ మేనేజర్ కాబట్టి. సో మోహన్ ఈజ్ ఎ బ్యాంక్ మేనేజర్. ఇట్స్ ఓకే. మోహన్, హూ ఈజ్ మై నెక్స్ట్ డోర్ నైబర్? మా పక్కింటి వాడు. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ a non-defining relative clause, right? And here you see that the cooperative bank which lent me a home loan became bankrupt. The cooperative bank became bankrupt అంటే అయిపోతుంది. But here you are giving additional, which lent me a home loan. ఏదైతే నా హోమ్ లోన్ ఇచ్చింది చూశారు, ఆ కోఆపరేటివ్ బ్యాంకు bankrupt అయ్యింది. So something like that. So here you have learned two things: defining relative clauses, non-defining relative clauses. Defining relative clauses define or describe their antecedents. Okay. But non-defining relative clauses do not describe, do not define their antecedents. This is only the difference between the defining relative clauses and the non-defining relative clauses, right? I hope you have understood this point very well. If you have any problem, please mention it in the comment section. I am ready to answer all your doubts. Okay, and now let's move on to learn other kinds of clauses, right? What is a noun clause? Now we are going to learn about this noun clause. This noun clause is going to be a very, very important grammatical aspect, because several times a question was asked on this particular grammatical aspect, not only in TET but also in DSC. Okay, so both DSC and TET candidates must pay a very good attention to this noun clause. And what is a noun clause? Okay, noun clause, a clause that functions as a noun. A clause that functions as a noun and is called a noun clause. Very simple. A clause that functions as a noun is called a noun clause. A clause that functions as an adjective is called an adjective clause. A clause that functions as an adverb is called an adverb clause. So in this way we have got three clauses: noun clause, adjective clause, adverb clause. See, these three things I'm going to teach you now. Please pay a very good attention to all of them, right? And next point, it always stands as an answer to the question of what to the verb of the sentence. So this noun clause always stands as an answer to the question of what to the verb. Okay, it always stands as an answer to the question of what to the verb of the sentence. This point is there. I'll show you what it means, okay, with an example. Noun clauses are normally introduced by the relative pronouns who, whom, whose, which, that, what. So again, relative pronouns are, and also by certain subordinating conjunctions like when, where, why, how, if, whether. Please remember the subordinating conjunctions. So certain special when, where, why, how, if, whether. With these subordinating conjunctions and with these relative pronouns, these noun clauses are formed or framed. Okay, and please keep these 2 points in your mind. Okay, and here what he said is true. Okay, what he said here, what is used here, what he said. So what is the verb here? Is. So you question the verb with what? What is true? What is true? What he said. This is standing as an answer to this question. Question this: what is true? What he said is true. So this always a noun clause will stand as an answer to the question of what to the verb of that sentence. Okay, right. What he said is true. What is true? What he said is true. Right. And that is the noun clause. And where they have gone is not known to anybody. What is the verb in this? Okay, this is the verb. Right. And now you question the verb with what? What is not known to anybody? What is not known to anybody means then where they have gone. This is going to be the answer. This will be the answer. Therefore, this is called the noun clause. This is called the noun clause, right? And here, one more example I would like to give you. I don't remember what she has said. See here, what? Okay. Now, what is the verb used in this? Remember. I don't remember what? You question the verb with what? I don't remember what? Then you get this answer, what she has said. And this is therefore called a noun clause. Because remember, whenever you question the verb with what, you get the noun clause. Okay. The answer to that question is always a noun clause. I'll give you some more examples to make you understand. Can you tell me why she is very sad today? So why she's, so this is going to be the answer to the question of what to this verb. Can you tell me what? Your question, can you tell me what? Why she is very sad today? So this is going to be the noun clause. He asked how he was going to solve the problem. He asked what? He asked what? How he was going to solve the problem. So this is going to be the noun clause. So like that in all the examples, that's the thing only. They quarreled over what? When the wedding should take place. Okay, that is the noun clause. And he paid no attention. He made no attention to what? What I said. This is a noun clause. Right. And here, my fear is what? My fear is what? You question. My fear is what? Suppose this is not there. My fear is what? That they will make a surprising attack. So this is a noun clause, right? And here the problem is what? What? You pose a question to this verb, then you automatically get this noun clause. How we can help the refugees, that is there. And here I accept the principle that all men are equal. I accept the principle, okay, that I accept what? I accept what? This is the verb. I accept what? The principle that all men are equal. So this is that. This is noun clause. It is a pity. What? What is a pity? That she has lost her job. It's a noun clause. Okay. And do you know the maxim? What? Do you know? Do you know what? The maxim. What is that maxim? That health is wealth. So in this way, so these are all noun clauses. And noun clauses will be the answer to the question of what to the verb of those sentences. Okay. And noun clauses are formed or framed with some relative pronouns and also with certain subordinating conjunctions also. Please, you pay very good attention to this and you keep this point in your mind. And now let's move on to learn about the adjective clauses. Already we have learned about the adjective clauses. Anyway, let us learn about the adjective clauses. And the last one is adverb clauses. Okay, right. Seventh one, what is an adjective clause? Already we worked on this adjective clause. We have learned about this adjective clause, defining adjective clause, non-defining adjective clause. Okay, all relative clauses are adjective clauses. Relative clauses, adjective clauses, both are the same. Right. And here an adjective clause is a clause that does the work of an adjective and qualifies a noun or a pronoun. Okay. It qualifies what? A noun or a pronoun. Qualifies means describes again. Okay, describes, right? And you know very well, these adjective clauses are introduced by the relative pronouns who, whom, whose, which, that, what. You know that very well. And here, etc. And also by certain relative adverbs like when, where, why. Already I have dealt with. These are all called relative clauses. Adjective clauses are called relative clauses. Defining relative clauses. All adjective clauses are defining relative clauses. That's why they are. The same point I have given you earlier also on some slide, okay, while teaching about the defining relative clauses. So here, the boy who broke the chair was punished. Again, the same example is given. Here, this who broke the chair is what? It is a defining relative clause. What is it doing? This is describing this boy. This boy is the antecedent of this clause. This is therefore called an adjective clause or defining a relative clause. By any of these two names you can call it. So if you drop this, the meaning of the remaining sentence becomes meaningless. See, if it is dropped, the boy was punished. So the sentence looks somewhat meaningless and absurd. Okay, and that's why you cannot remove that adjective clause from the sentence, right? Okay, Mohan, whose car was stolen. So it's an adjective clause or defining relative clause. Mohan, whose car was stolen, complained to the police. If this is dropped, this is an adjective clause, defining clause. Okay, see, if this is dropped, the remaining sentence doesn't make complete sense. Mohan complained to the police. That much only it gives. Why did he complain to the police? That is not made clear in this sentence. So if you say Mohan complained to the police means, why did he complain to the police? What must be the reason? You think in that way because the reason is not explained in that. But if you say Mohan, whose car was stolen, ఎవరి కార్ అయితే దొంగిలించబడిందో ఆ మోహన్ కంప్లైంట్ టు ద పోలీస్. అంటే కార్ కోసం కంప్లైంట్ చేసినట్టుగా you can easily understand in this sentence, right? And this is the adjective clause, right? And one more example, this is the place where Lincoln was buried. Okay, same example. So this is as describing this antecedent at the time when the accident happened. So this is an adjective clause. What is it doing? It is describing this time at the time when the accident happened. Accident jarigina aa time na I was only 8. So this is an adjective clause or defining relative clause. That is the reason why she has been suspended. Aame enduku suspend cheyabadindo, that was the reason. So what is this clause doing? This adjective clause or defining relative clause, what is it doing? It is describing this reason. And one more example I think there is, the house that or which Hari has built is located in Kokapet. The house that Hari has built, the house which Hari has built, that or which anything you can say. This is an adjective clause, right? Okay, and this is located in Kokapet. Okay, so in all these examples, these are called adjective clauses or defining relative clauses. Also, you can call them. Now you have learnt about the adjective clauses. Adjective clauses are formed only with these relative pronouns and certain relative adverbs. Please keep these things in your mind because a question may be posed on this particular aspect. And now let's move on to the last item, that is about adverb clauses. Okay, eighth one, the last one. What is an adverb clause? What is an adverb clause? Already you know. An adverb clause does the work of an adverb. A clause that does the work of an adverb is called an adverb clause. Very simple. So, and modifies a verb, an adjective and another adverb. So this definition please keep in your mind. Note, they are introduced by the subordinating conjunctions of time, place, manner, cause, reason, purpose, result, comparison, condition, concession. So these are the subordinating conjunctions, and with these subordinating conjunctions the adverb clauses are formed or framed. Okay, and please keep this point in your mind. And one example, we waited until she returned. Until is a subordinating conjunction, so therefore this is called an adverb clause. Okay, he fell asleep while he was driving, adverb clause. And unless she invites me to the party, I may not go. Unless is a subordinating conjunction, and therefore this is called an adverb clause. Okay, and here I shall follow wherever you go. This is an adverb clause. Okay, and because this is an subordinating conjunction, right? And here he ran very fast lest he should miss the train. So lest is a subordinating conjunction, therefore this is an adverb clause, right? And here though she was poor, though is a subordinating conjunction, therefore this is an adverb clause. And she was honest. And the last example here is he talked as if he were the boss of the company. So as if is also a subordinating conjunction, and therefore this is an adverb clause. So in this way, all these red colored words are subordinating conjunctions. Okay, and therefore the clause that begins with them is called an adverb clause. Here you have understood from this slide that the clauses that begin with subordinating conjunctions are always called adverb clauses. Okay, with this video comes to an end. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hello dear TET and DSC candidates, thank you so much for watching this video. If at all you come across any difficulty in understanding this video, please text me, okay, on my WhatsApp number. That number is given in the description. Please make use of that number, and if you have any grammar related issues or problems, please text me those problems. I am ready to answer all of them. Let me help you and let be used for your service. Okay, and with another beautiful video I shall be back to you. Until then, bye, see you, all of you, right?